From Colorado State University, this is the Emmy Award-winning Campus Television. Owned and operated by the Colorado State Student Body, Campus Television, covering the news, sports, arts, and entertainment of campus.
Tonight on CTV, the Fort Collins community swaps their cars for bikes to celebrate Winter Bike to Work Day.
Then, a look into the loneliness epidemic and how researchers suggest making new connections.
Finally, learn more about Samba Sensations, a dance event celebrating Black History Month.
Good evening, Rams, and thank you for joining us.
Welcome back to CTV's Thursday Night News.
I'm Robert Sides.
And I'm Madison Szpunar. 2 people were rescued from Long's Peak after spending the night on Rocky Mountain National Park. The 2 individuals contacted park rangers late at night on February 6th, stating that they were on Keener's route and were unable to continue, and that they had not planned to stay on the peak overnight. Search and rescue teams began their operations early on February 7th and attempted to locate the climbers, who were at around 14,000 feet. The U.S. Forest Service helicopter attempted to rescue the climbers that morning, but was unable to do so due to high winds. A Flight for Life helicopter was also ordered, but stood down due to the wind. The climbers were eventually rescued by a Colorado National Guard helicopter at around 2:15 in the afternoon, and no injuries were reported.
Business owners in Old Town are voicing opposition to on-street parking in the area. Currently, the parking policy in Fort Collins is that downtown on-street parking is free for a maximum of 2 hours. The proposed revision prices on-street parking at $2 per hour for a maximum of 4 hours. The proposal comes from concerns about traffic congestion in Old Town and a need to raise money for parking services. However, several business owners in Old Town express opposition to the plan. They argue that such fees would dissuade people from visiting Old Town, which will cause sales from their businesses to decline. A Change.org petition asking the city to reconsider the plan has almost 7,000 signatures. If City Council decides to move forward with the plan, on-street parking fees will start to be enforced in the summer of 2027.
Fort Collins is celebrating Winter Bike to Work Day this Friday the 13th. The day encourages community members to swap their cars for a bike ride, whether they commute every day or just want to take part in the Fort Collins event. The event runs from 7 in the morning until 5:30 in the evening, with stations set up around the city where cyclists can stop by for a free breakfast and a safety check. Organizers say the event is open to everyone in Fort Collins and is a fun way to get involved in the community. What do you think about biking to work on Friday, Robert?
I mean, I would love to participate, but unfortunately I don't own a bike. But I also don't own a car, so I guess it works out.
Kind of doesn't really matter, but I think I'm going to stick to the bus tomorrow. I also unfortunately don't have a bike, but I encourage other people to get out there. It might be cold, but it'll be fun. Don't go anywhere, Rams. Right after the break, we'll learn more about a Fort Collins member-owned cooperative grocery store reopening in a new location.
Awkward. I'm the awkward silence. You try to avoid me, then there I am again.
But an awkward silence can be a great thing.
Like Kelly here is about to demonstrate.
You haven't really been yourself lately. Are you okay?
Find out how you can help a friend with their mental health at seizetheawkward.org.
Good evening, Rams. I'm Maya Kramer. Since its founding by CSU students in 1972, the Mountain Avenue Market has been a staple of the community as the only member-owned cooperative grocery store in Fort Collins. Now, the store is taking its next steps forward by reopening in a larger and more familiar location. Mountain Avenue has been home to a growing cooperative grocery store for nearly 50 years. The store, originally started for college friends to share items by buying in bulk, is now a fully fledged board-owned cooperative.
Basically, it just means that the members own it. So when you become a member of the co-op, you're also a member owner.
In recent years, the size of the store's original location became a hindrance on its growth, leading to near closure multiple times.
We weren't going to be able to make it work in that location long term if we wanted to actually provide a service to the community.
Vendors at the market shared similar criticism.
I've been pretty limited on how much I could have here because of space.
But the board and members saw a new opportunity when a building that used to be the beloved local grocery store called Beavers became available last year.
Through a lot of really miraculous turns of events and just random things working in our favor, we were able to pull it off.
The added size not only gives vendors more space to increase their product and variety, it will also let more people join in on shopping at any given time.
This is going to be nice. The parking area here is much better than over there on the street.
The change has already sparked excitement for the co-op's future, but no part of this move will mean forgetting the store's history.
This is before I was born.
Be able to move into this space and let this building shine as the community market that it's been for so many years gives me chills to even talk about.
This has been Maya, CTV News.
The Fort Collins Food Co-op is set to reopen at its location on Mountain Avenue on February 14th of this year. That's all from me. Now back to Madison.
Thank you, Maya. New researchers from CSU shows Americans do have friends, but many still want stronger connections. A study from the American Friendship Project found 98% of people say they have at least one friend, and more than half claim that they have 5 or more friends. However, many say they're still longing for a deeper connection. Assistant Professor Natalie Pennington claims the issue isn't always having enough friends, but rather making time for them. We asked her how people...
I have 2 recommendations that I would offer that can help people. One is thinking about the relationships you already have and finding ways to strengthen those. So if people aren't in the same town as you, right, if maybe they don't live in Fort Collins, one piece of advice is to have phone calls. So we default and think texting is our best option, but there's actually a lot of evidence that phone calls are a lot more meaningful and help us feel less lonely.
Pennington says even small and generous efforts can make a big difference in strengthening friendships and reducing loneliness.
The CSU System Board of Governors selected Rico Munn as its sole finalist to succeed Anthony Frank as CSU Chancellor. Munn is CSU's president for Metro Denver Engagement and Strategy, and he was selected as CSU's next chancellor in an internal search conducted by the CSU Board of Governors. Many CSU faculty were displeased with the limited scope of both the applicants and the advisory body conducting the search. In an interview with the Collegian's Ali Seibel, chemical engineering professor Michael Dedamore expressed concerns that the search for chancellor does not constitute a national search, something that the university has done for sports coaches, deans, and provosts. If selected, Munn will assume office as CSU Chancellor upon Frank's retirement on June 30th, 2027. Now, on to weather with Colin.
Good evening, Rams. I'm your weather anchor, Colin Shea, and let's get right into the current conditions. Currently, it's sitting at 46 degrees and expect some clouds tonight with our sunset happened at 5:32 p.m. Our humidity sitting at 71% and winds today 7 miles an hour to our northwest. Fort Collins was hit with some Goldilocks conditions this week, with temperatures being not too hot and not too cold, and following a pattern of clouds in the morning and then the sun kind of peeking through as the afternoon goes on. And speaking of those clouds, they were as bipolar as ever today, flirting with the idea of raining, but we didn't really see it until later in this afternoon. Jumping into our overnight lows, we start here on the I-25 corridor, and we can see that as we move south, the temperature kind of fluctuates around that freezing range. And moving on to our eastern plains, we see something similar as the weather continues to hover just around freezing and up into the lower 20s. Moving on into our western slopes, you can see Craig sitting at 26 degrees and our temperatures hovering around that 20 to low to mid 20s, and then we can also expect some snow tonight for that southern region of Colorado. Moving straight on to our conditions for our bike to work day tomorrow, we have our high at 56 degrees and our low at 31 degrees. Our sunset is expected to take place at 5:33, with humidity sitting at 52% and winds 6 miles an hour to our north-northeast. Jumping straight into our 5-day forecast. Saturday, looking good for all of our lovers on Valentine's Day. Nice and sunny, 60 degrees. Sunday, expect more of the same conditions, just some more clouds. And then we'll jump right into our work day with our work week, again, sitting around, that's Monday and Tuesday, sitting around 60 degrees. And then we drop 10 degrees to 50 on Wednesday. Expect clouds throughout the whole week. That's all I got for the weather tonight, Rams. After the break, KCSU will give us a breakdown of all the concerts happening this week in Fort Collins.
Living with someone you don't know on the other side of the wall is hard, especially if you don't know how to be a good roommate. The first thing that you'll want to do to be a good roommate is make sure that you always stay quiet. Be considerate of others when using common spaces and appliances.
Hey buddy, what you doing?
I'm just gonna need like 40 minutes. Be respectful of your roommate's privacy.
Ugh, my bad.
Finally, make sure that you clean up after yourself. Oh, a fresh toothbrush.
Have you seen my toothbrush?
Follow these tips to get along with your roommates and your landlord.
Good evening, Rams. Welcome back from the break. I'm DJ Ponder with 90.5 KCSU, bringing you CTV's concert calendar for this weekend. Fort Collins is showing a lot of love this Valentine's Day with all of our venues having their own Saturday night show. Starting at the Aggie Theater, KCSU presents Lovers Fest featuring local bands Kevin, Ember, Snow Day, Planet Claire, and Freaky Stella. With 5 bands, there's enough alternative rock to last through the night. The show starts at 8. More information is available on Aggie Theater's website. Dark Star Orchestra, a Grateful Dead cover band formed in Chicago, will be performing at Washington's and are making a pit stop this Saturday. The show starts at 7. Tickets are sold out, but resale tickets may be available on Dark Star Orchestra's website. Fort Collins bands Desperata, Limited Supply, and Treewell are performing the Love is Love Valentine's Day show at Soundbar. The show starts at 6:30 and more information is available on Soundbar's website. To listen to more local music, tune in to KCSU on 90.5. Go to our website, kcsufm.com, or download the KCSU app. You can also tune into my show, Words and Gratitudes with DJ Ponder, from 4 to 5 in the afternoon on Mondays. Be sure to tune in next Thursday for your next KCSU concert calendar. But that's all I've got for you, Rams. Let's hand it over to Lucas with sports.
Thank you. Good evening, Rams. My name is Lucas Williams, and I will be filling in tonight as your Thursday night sports anchor. CSU football is heading towards a brand new frontier next season with a new head coach, a ton of new players, and a move to the Pac-12. Ram fans aren't sure what to expect, but one thing that fans can expect is who the Rams will be playing this fall. Yesterday, the schedule for Rams football was released. They are set to host 7 home games and travel to 5 away games. Let's first take a look at the conference games the Rams will be playing. The schools in the Pac-12 have done a lot of shuffling around, so the conference looks much different compared to past seasons. The Pac-12 will now consist of your CSU Rams, Boise State, Fresno State, Gonzaga, Oregon State, San Diego State, Utah State, Washington State, and Texas State. The teams not a part of the Pac-12 that the Rams are set to play include Wyoming, Southern Utah, and UTSA. The Rams will play one more team, but that school has not yet been released. The season starts off with a bang as the Rams play Wyoming for the 118th edition of the Border War. The Rams are looking for some redemption this season as the Cowboys crushed the Rams last season 28-0. With home turf advantage and some aces up their sleeves, the Rams are hoping to leave this game with the bronze boot. Following that matchup, the Rams are set to be back in campus again for their annual Ag Day game. With a stadium decked out in orange, the Rams will take on Southern Utah. Week 5 will consist of arguably the best weekend of the year, homecoming weekend. as the Rams will take on Oregon State on their home turf, hoping to come out on top. With transfers from UConn, Auburn, the University of Oklahoma, and several other top football programs, you'll want to keep an eye out for those new faces and what talents they bring onto the field. Under head coach Jim Mora, who brings more than 35 years of coaching experience in NFL and college, with stops at UConn, UCLA, the Seattle Seahawks, and the Atlanta Falcons, the Rams are in good hands as they move into a new era with so many changes. Ram fans can expect good competition, a packed Canvas Stadium, and some hard-fought football games this fall. The move to the Pac-12 means new tests for all of CSU athletics. That is all the sports content I have, but tune in next Tuesday at 7 to hear all about CSU sports. Back to you guys on desks. Robert.
Thank you, Lucas. Since the beginning of this year, one of Old Town's long-standing bookstores has undergone a change in ownership. Since the start of this year, two familiar faces are ready to turn the page for Old Firehouse Books. Old Firehouse Books has been owned by Susie Wilmer since 2001, back when the store was called The Book Rack. But at the start of 2026, Wilmer was ready to retire and sold the store off to two of her customers.
You know, I know it's a big step for her, but I was glad, she needs some, time for herself, so I was just kind of happy for her.
Ravity Keelaparty has been with Old Firehouse on and off for 17 years, having assumed many roles in that time. Teresa Steele was a bookseller and then a bookkeeper, which totaled about a dozen years at Old Firehouse.
I think it's still a little surreal, if I think about it, when people ask what I do. I'm usually like, oh yeah, I work at Old Firehouse, and then it's like, oh, actually I could say I own Old Firehouse instead of work there.
The owners say not much is ready to change soon. They're spending their first year getting their bearings as new business owners.
Nothing much is going to change, especially this first year. We just want to get our feet under us.
Hopefully in about 8 months we'll have a better idea of where to go from there.
The store's community-first mindset is something the owners take pride in and want to see keep going.
We're such a huge part of the community. We are able to do a lot of things for authors, uplift voices that wouldn't get uplifted formally. So I think that's always going to be a very big focus.
Thank you so much. Yeah, have a wonderful day. Yeah, you too. Thanks.
Teresa Steele and Ravity Keelaparty are getting ready to write a new chapter for Old Firehouse Books. Robert Sides, CTV. This sale of Old Firehouse Books will be the bookstore's second ownership change since its opening in 1980 and the first since it moved to the historic Old Town Firehouse in 2009.
The CSU's Audit podcast has began reaching people around the world with listeners in over 80 countries. The Audit is a two-time national award-winning podcast produced by the university's Marketing and Communications Department. The podcast is hosted by former NPR reporter Stacy Nick, who highlights CSU faculty and researchers talking about topics such as dry January and its history to whether it's safe to eat snow. The podcast is available online and is available to listen to at any time.
Good evening, Rams. I'm Karma Robbins. In honor of Black History Month, Ram Events and Cultural Offices partnered to put on Samba Sensations last night to celebrate and learn about different cultures and identities. Students filled the Laurie Student Center Theater ready to samba and watch performers from Bella Diva Dance, honoring Carnival season, which runs from February 13th through February 18th. Ram Events put on a celebration in the LSC Theater for Samba Sensations, a dance event to celebrate Carnival season for the first time to help highlight other cultural backgrounds and identities, collaborating with other cultural offices.
We wanted to highlight our Afro-Latinos and the South American traditions as well. We do want to collaborate more with the back office, so this has been the perfect opportunity. We also collaborated with the Caribbean Student Alliance, which was great to get more input.
The importance of this event was to help educate and show off the tradition of Carnival season for staff and students.
We provided history on Carnaval season and the importance of keeping tradition alive, and we got to learn where samba originated from. We can use Bad Bunny's Super Bowl performance as an example. With that, got so much backlash, and we, as people of color, we keep getting erased in the U.S., and I feel like we just keep having to highlight different identities.
I think it's nice to learn about other people's culture, especially when special events like this come up.
Ram Events wants a bigger celebration in the future and to make it an annual tradition.
I'm really excited to bring this event back for next year, for next Carnaval season.
I feel like it means unity, honestly. Like I said, meeting new people, I just met a bunch of new friends.
During this event, students and staff came together as a community, celebrating and learning about multiple cultures at once. RAM Events hopes to host and partner with cultural offices to put together more events and celebrations like this. During Black History Month, there will be more events in honor of 100 years of Black history. But that's all I've got for you, Rams. Let's throw it back to desk.
Thanks, Karma.
Well, that's all we have for you tonight, Rams.
Check out our YouTube channel for more content all week, and we'll be back next Thursday to keep you updated on all of the news that's happening in Fort Collins.
Thank you for joining us, and have a great night.